trying to push off that. It didn't work. I really got playing these intros out a little bit better, but we're back again. Episode 2, how to become that motherfucker. Okay, so what you need is mentally, I'm going off of the last part, the last video we made, I'm going off on that. Delicious. But anyway, if you're on a journey of self-discovery, finding yourself, discovering who you actually are on the inside because of all the bullshit that was fed to you throughout an early age, conforming, being obedient, I'm here to tell you how to get out of all that bullshit. So, let's rewind this a little bit. Becoming your true self, it's a process. It's a process that many people don't want to experience. It's a process that involves a lot of self-reflection, things that you've done in your past that say that you think to yourself, like, why did I even think this? Because now I think like this, and this is a much better way to think. Like how to get out of that conformist mentality, which only holds you back in life. So I figured out how to be a non-conformist by the age of 19. Like as soon as I got out of high school, that's when I started to become like my own person. Now I always had my own interest. I was always into like old school music. I was always into shit that was like not conventional to my peers. So, but the main thing was I like collecting records. I like listening to music from the 1960s all the way up until the 2000s. I like some 2010s music, but I don't really like that much 2020 music. I can't name you one top 40 song from this year, the year before that, this whole entire decade, so I can't tell you shit. But anyway, how to become that person that's non-conformist. Now, as we look throughout human history, being a conformist actually ensured your survival. Say if like you were in a tribe, like when we were much more primitive as a Homo sapien species, when we were a lot more primitive, the person who was like the outcast, like they got outcasted in the jungle or the safari, and they probably got mauled by all these fucking tigers and like shit that was out just to fucking rip their fucking head off, all that shit. They were most likely to be casted out, and that did not ensure their safety because they were just by themselves. They didn't have a team of people to like kill something that tried to kill them. So being a conformist or not being a strange or weird or an outside of the box thinker ensured your survival. But since we don't live in those times nowadays, the best way to actually go about being a successful person is not, and I repeat, it is not being a conformist. Conformity is only going to fuck up your life. Being like everybody else, thinking like everybody else, having the same mentality as everybody else, it is not going to get you far in life. You are not going far at all, my friend. My friend, what you really need is a pair of fucking balls. Big cojones. Big fucking cojones. I mean, oh my God. Fucking beach ball cojones. Bitches be like hitting them shits over nets. That's the kind of big balls you need. Now, I'm not saying this is an easy thing to accomplish. It's not. This takes years of practice, motherfuckers. It takes a lot of fucking practice. Holy crap, bro. Let me tell you, motherfucker, something. Listen. When you're just constantly being beaten down by just how different you are, just by how against the grain you are, just by how special you move through these streets and shit, people are gonna be like, man, this motherfucker's different. Just being different is a good thing. When somebody calls you different, embrace that shit. Embrace it. That's who you are. You are a different person. Be proud of it. Because many people are not. They suck. They fucking suck. But when you're just that different type of person, it's like, damn. It's like you almost feel like you're superhuman. Like you could punch a fucking refrigerator and that shit will fucking blow up. Like you feel like you're so strong and shit. Like, oh, I'm different. Like, because a lot of people like to call themselves different, but they're not really truly different. Being truly different requires you being by yourself for a long time, coming up with ideas, and coming up with ideas that may lead you down the path of success. And you can think you're different all you want. You can think like, oh, I'm special. I'm just not seen every day. Listen, you are not that. You are not that, bro. You are not that, sister. You are not that, motherfucker. You are not. You are not. Because being truly different is gonna have people looking at you sideways. Being truly different is gonna have people be like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like, how many times was he dropped on the head as a baby? Put that motherfucker back up in his mother's womb and never let him never come the fuck out. Cause that motherfucker is just, no, he's strange. Get the fuck away from me. But this is when you're doing something right. Just as long as you're not killing people, hurting people, fucking just like being just a complete like fuck up. Like, don't do all that. But being different in the term of like, okay, this is a new way of thinking. This is a new way of going about shit. And people just don't really mess with it because they might look at it because everybody has their own mind. The mind is a very beautiful thing and everybody has their own mind. But it's the people who can actually use their mind to get ahead in life and think of like revolutionary, new, and just like very unique ways of going about things. Those are the people who actually make it ahead in life. But many people just don't want to be put out there as a strange, weird, different person because it does come with a lot of downsides. People are just not gonna fuck with you like that, and that's okay. You gotta learn to accept that. You have to learn to accept yourself. Don't accept other people's opinions. Accept yourself, because at the end of the fucking day, when everybody's all old and wrinkly and we're all about to die, who's gonna be there on that deathbed dying? Just you. Just fucking you, son. So the best thing to do is just learn to accept yourself. And this is something that, like I said in my last video, this is something that's not easy to do because throughout the age of 0 through 18, you are being programmed day in and day out of what to think, believe, feel, and what to think is like normal or weird. So you have to deprogram yourself from all that shit. If you're into music, go into music. If you're into fucking like abstract art, go into it. Whatever your passion, your interest, whatever your purpose is, you gotta go fully deep into it and not care about what the next nigga or the next bitch says, because that's all they are, just a nigga and a bitch. Like they're worthless. They're nothing to you because they're not on their shit. So why do you have to fall back on your own shit to make them happy? This is the worst thing you could ever do. Don't ever do that. And this is something I had to learn throughout my whole entire 20s. I sacrificed my whole 20s. I didn't have that many relationships. I didn't have that many friends. I lost a lot of my social skills. It is what it is. I mean, this is the price you pay to fucking be different and to be successful, and you mean different. It just is what it is. So you're just gonna need to not be a nonconformist. Like I said, people are gonna always say, "Oh, just be yourself." Being yourself is it's not easy. It's not easy because being yourself may just look like so just strange to other people, and you gotta learn to just go with the flow, roll with the punches. It's going to suck. It's absolutely gonna suck. You're gonna be like, "Is this the way my life is right now? Is this who the fuck I actually am? Like, is this the path I'm really going down?" Yes, it is the path you're going down. And you're gonna fucking enjoy it because you are one of the brave ones that actually took a step and said, you know what? I'm tired of this living situation I'm in. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of being dissed by women. And I'm tired of fucking just being disrespected all the time. But once you go through that path that you set out for yourself and you get to the other side and you reach that success, man, you're gonna be like, I'm so proud of you. You went down that path, you came out all right. Now, being a conformist, you won't have to go down any of that shit. You won't have to go through any of that stuff. And it is the more safe, comfortable life. You're not gonna have any mental issues, or you're not gonna have any developing problems within yourself. Not to say that you will if you do go down that ambitious, very non-conformist path, but there is a chance that you will lose some of your mind a little bit. But like I said, you can always just heal from that. But that's not what's important. What's important is realizing who the fuck you are on the inside and going through the trenches and coming out on the other side and telling people, I told you so. I told you so. This is probably one of the best feelings that you'll ever encounter in your life, proving people wrong, going through the fucking hardships and becoming stronger because of it. Because most people just break. Many people are not built for like a very ambitious life. They're just gonna break within like, yeah, they're gonna be all pumped up within like the first minute of them doing it, but then they just lose steam so quickly because they got punched in the face with that reality of, whoa, I'm gonna have to go through so much just to achieve this. Like, say Naruto, I'm a little bit of a fucking anime nerd, but let's just take Naruto for example. He wanted to be Hokage, the highest ninja in the whole entire village. He wanted to be Hokage, so Kakashi, his old teacher, he's like, all right, you want to be Hokage? Okay. He slammed that motherfucker with like 15,000 books. All right, you gotta read all this shit. You gotta be this type of person. You gotta learn all these techniques. You gotta be a father figure. You gotta be not a father figure. You gotta be a role model type of person if you're gonna be leading this village. So Naruto, he went down that hard path. He's like, man, I gotta read all these fucking books. And Kakashi was like, yeah, motherfucker. You wanna be Hokage? You wanna be out here just fucking shit up and being the best, just rubbing your fucking balls on people's heads and shit, just being that motherfucker, yeah. You're gonna have to read all these books. You're gonna have to fucking just be by yourself, study. You're gonna learn everything about everything in your field. That's what it takes. And this is something that people don't realize. Like, you're gonna have to there's no such thing as a halfway ambitious person. Like, you're either in or you're out. Most people are out. They're not gonna go through that fucking pain. That pain hurts, man. It's like your soul is dying on the inside. It's like, fuck, I can't relate to nobody. Who the fuck am I? Who is I? But this is the fucking thing you signed up for, so you're gonna have to fucking deal with it. Not to say it's easy, but this is the path you chose. And if you're really about that life, being that next Mozart, the next Michael Jordan, the next Steve Jobs, the next Elon Musk, the next president of the United States, your ass is gonna be in the dungeon for years and years and years. If you're really about that life, if you just don't kind of want it, if you really want it, and you can't breathe without it, you can't just live without it. Your ass is in those trenches all the time, getting it done, not caring. Somebody comes up from this way, man, get the fuck out of here, I'm busy. Laser focus, super laser focus. Focus on a level where it's like, I didn't even know this shit was possible. Like, you're gonna have people around you who are just gonna be envious of you because they just wish they were that focused on themselves. But the more and more they're around other people, they just can't do it because they're just being plagued by other people's fuck shit constantly, that they can't even try to think to themselves like, oh my God, I'm not actually fucking doing what I need to do. I need to go harder. I need to actually put my foot down, put my head down, and get to work. But many people, they either don't have the money to do it, or they just, I think it's just mostly from laziness. It doesn't really take that much to be an ambitious person. If you got like a regular job, you can set some money aside and put it towards things you really want to have it be put towards to further your purpose in your life. But what I find is that many people, they just don't want to fucking go down that super hard path of just becoming the person who they are destined to be, because they're gonna have to forget about everything they once were. And to go into new territory, many people can't fuck with that because it's like, I don't want to lose who I used to be. Like, I love who I am, but who you are ain't shit. So you're gonna have to become that person where it's like, okay, I love who I used to be, but that has to be left behind because it's getting me nowhere in life. Yeah, people know me as the hip, the chipper funny guy who always makes people feel better. But now you gotta fucking leave all that shit behind and become that savage that gets it done and who's a legendary motherfucker. People gonna look up to you like 100 years, 200 years from now. It's like, God damn, that motherfucker he knew what he wanted in life. That's the kind of person you really want to be. But to get to that point and to like stay in it, it's easy to get to that point, but it's hard to fucking stay in it. That's where the true testament of your character comes into play. And many people just, they can't fathom day in and day out grinding. They can't fathom that. It's uncomfortable, it sucks. It's like you're willingly putting yourself in timeout. Like, just think back to your kindergarten days. You're willing to be put yourself in timeout away from other kids, just with your head in your hands like this. Not burping, excuse me. I just had a bunch of fucking sparkling water. Drink your sparkling water. Or just drink your water. You don't gotta be bougie like me. Actually, my friend put me onto that motherfucker. Anyway, it's expensive water. It's like $14 for like 8 cans of 19 ounce cans of water. It's fucking ridiculous. But anyway, that's beside the point. You're gonna have to go down that scary path of just, when you really want something in life, you need to suffer for it. This is what your parents don't tell you growing up. Suffering is actually, it's gonna lead you to success. Suffering is necessary. Not suffering because, suffering in terms of getting to success. Not suffering just because, you can't pay your bills or your bitch is like fucking like nagging at you. Not that type of suffering. That's suffering you can avoid if you just pay your bills or get rid of that dumb bitch. But I'm talking about suffering that's actually gonna make you stronger, spiritually, mentally, physically, that type of suffer that actually matters. And I found out that most people, they can suffer a little bit, but can they suffer for a long time? I'm talking about days and days where you're just on the floor with your head. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm just like, am I actually becoming successful? Yes, you're becoming successful because you are changing. You are changing into a person that breeds success. Embrace that shit, bro. Embrace that fucking shit, because that is a superpower in these days. Just think about it. Look at all these people who are just addicted to their phones. They can't even look up for 1 second. People crossing the street with their phones. You can't tell me that's an ambitious person unless they're working on their business. But no, they're just fucking scrolling through TikTok, wasting their fucking life away. They don't know the first thing of suffering. They're so programmed into bullshit that suffering to them is like the worst thing ever, when I think it's fucking beautiful. Suffering for me is like, wow, like, it feels like, I shouldn't say this, but it feels like you're like Jesus Christ in a sense, because it's like, he went through all that suffering for us, but you should go through that suffering for yourself. So I don't mean to compare myself to Jesus, you shouldn't do that. But in terms of like suffering for a greater cause, whether it is for yourself or for other people, I say you should do it for yourself, because other people are just, you don't really want to fuck with a lot of people like that. And people who have, there's a lot of people with ulterior motives out there, people who don't really, especially if they can't see your vision, they're going to go against you from the jump because they wish they were like that. They wish they were very unique. They wish they were very ambitious. They wish they were very driven to get to what they want and get what they want. But it's a very hard, rare thing to see. Just seeing somebody get up day after day after day, just getting it in, not caring. They're just constantly in the trenches, just getting stabbed at, just getting stomped on, spit on. It's a tough grind. It's a tough grind. It's like being in the military by yourself some days. It's like you're out there 1 versus 1 million motherfuckers. Like, you got a bayonetta with a fucking, little fucking, with a gun on it. Whatever that fucking, the 17th century shit they used for the Revolutionary War with the bayonetta and the fucking rifles. You're out there with that, and you're against a bunch of motherfuckers with AKs and fucking shit that can shoot you from the goddamn space, from the International Space Station. That's what you're up against. You're up against aliens and fucking cyber soldiers and shit, but you're out there with a fucking stick and a goddamn knife, and you gotta fight all these motherfuckers. That's what it feels like some days. I'm telling you, that's when it's like really brutal. That's when you really gotta push through, fucking do your dodges, fucking do your action movie roles and shit, do your backflips to avoid all these motherfuckers and keep picking them off one after one. Fuck you, nigga. You gotta be out there fucking getting it, bro. I'm telling you, this ain't no bullshit. You gotta get out there. Just like fucking lock and loaded all the time. It's like you're in a movie constantly. You're like, it's like you're in an action movie all the time. It might seem fun, but listen, when you're actually in that fucking stressful scenario, it's like, man, fuck this. But you gotta keep fighting, man. You gotta keep fighting, man. You gotta keep it going. It's gonna fucking suck. You're gonna wish like, fuck, I just want a fucking burrito right now. I'm fucking hungry. No, fuck that burrito. Put it the fuck down. Eat some chicken and rice. Because that's what's actually is right. That is what's right for you. That fucking burrito that I just threw on the floor ain't shit. But this broccoli and spinach and rice and chicken, nutritious. So that's the type of, that's how you gotta think. You gotta think to be, what the fuck am I talking? Anyway, I went way off course, but anyway. To be a nonconformist, you just gotta fucking just be that motherfucker. Just, I can't tell you how to do it, you just gotta do it. I can give you pointers, I can tell you how to get started, but it all comes down to your character. Are you built for pain? Are you built for struggle? Are you built for adversity? These are the three things you gotta take into account if you're gonna be that successful person. You gotta be built for all this shit, man. That's why most people aren't successful, because they're just not built for it. They were not built in the same factory I was. They were built in a factory that produced fucking pom-poms and fucking sweet buns and fucking sugary snacks. I was built in a fucking factory of fucking robots and maniacal motherfucking like machines that could like rip you apart just with the press of a button. That's where the fuck I was built. Not many motherfuckers are built like that. Many motherfuckers are cream puffs. Straight ass, sweet ass, sugary ass, glucose, fructose, high fructose corn syrup ass motherfuckers. That's what they are. That's what a bunch of people, 99% of motherfuckers, they are high fructose corn syrup. I don't know why I can't say fructose. But anyway, because it's not in my vocabulary, because I ain't filled with fucking sugar, you know what I mean? But anyway, being a nonconformist, it will save your life. It will save your life. Just do it, man. Follow that Nike saying, just fucking do it, man. It's gonna suck, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna fucking, people gonna not fuck with you anymore. Who cares? You're gonna be the one in your mansion with all the fucking pretty bitches, getting it in with them, having all the money that you could ever imagine, while these motherfuckers are outside with a fucking cardboard sign talking about, we'll work for food. We'll work for food. Fuck that shit, bro. And you smell like fucking bullshit. Fuck out of here. You want to be in the mansion with all those bitches getting it in. I'm telling you. But you just gotta go through that pain. Everything worth in this life is worth fighting for. Everything in this life that's great, you gotta fight for it. You gotta fight every day. What time, motherfucker? Every day, you gotta be in there. Bobbing and weaving, like, maybe even taking a few fucking hits to the face. Oh shit, get fucked up. You gotta get back up, motherfucker. You gotta get the fuck back up. Get it in. Dragon kick that motherfucker off the cliff, man. Get the fuck out the way, I'm coming through. That's how you gotta be. Everybody in my way is a fucking bowling pin. You're the bowling ball. Knock all those motherfuckers out because you're on a fucking mission. And they're not getting re-racked either. They're fucking out of your way for life because like, oh shit, this motherfucker is about his shit. We better get the fuck out of his way. You gotta be that bowling ball, motherfucker. That bowling ball mentality is gonna save your life. That's the message.